I'd like to welcome you all back to the channel. We have with us a champion, a belt holder more than once, somebody by the name of Yuri Foreman. Many of you, if not most of you, have heard of this man. Thanks for coming and joining us, Yuri.
Hey, thank you for having me. And yeah, let's have a good conversation. Not
Absolutely.
fights.
All right, let me do a little bio first, just for clarity's sake, and then we're going to jump into some juicy conversations. All right.
Okay.
So first of all, you're 42, if I may say so. I'm 49, so you're still young. You were born in Belarus. You fought out of Brooklyn / Jersey, I guess after the Gleason days. And it's interesting because you're identified as an Israeli. So before we get into anything else, I'm trying to understand, like, did you go get your Israeli citizenship? Was that something important to you that you want to be identified as an Israeli?
So I born in Soviet Union in 91, right before the collapse of Soviet Union. Me and my parents, we did Aliyah to Israel. And I lived in Israel for almost 9 years. So I'm Israeli citizen.
Oh, okay. All right. So I missed that part. I didn't know you lived in Israel for a little bit.
I'm Israeli citizen after 23 years and living in Brooklyn. I'm Israeli. I'm still Israeli.
Cool.
The
Now, if I have your stats right, if they're up to date, you've had 40 fights. You've had 35, 10 with knockouts, 4 losses, 1 no contest. And, you know, I think I told you I used to fight a little bit, not professionally, and I've been around fighters. And what I always found interesting is that, you know, as a kid or as the rest of the world looks at it, they think like you want to be champion of the world. But in reality, once you get there, it's like it's something you share, meaning people, I guess they watch Rocky and they think, oh, there's this guy, he's top of the world, but you share it, you win it, you lose it, you had a couple of titles. So when you get there, it's probably glamorous, but it's not as it doesn't make you the greatest fighter ever. It's sort of a title you share with other people. I guess what I'm trying to say is that maybe it's humbling once you become world champion to realize there are other world champions. There is no one best. I know I'm rambling.
Yeah, no. It's for everyone is very different to experience what it is to be in boxing, for example. Boxing is a very physical, very mental, and for, I would say, minority, very spiritual sport.
Right.
And you know, everybody should have their kind of goals. You know, for me, goal was to be a world champion. After watching Rocky, after watching Mike Tyson fights back in Soviet Union, you know, so that was my motivation, you know, to be clearly when you are a kid, when you're just beginning your boxing journey, you don't realize that to be on top is it's brief. It could be brief, you know. To majority of fighters, it's brief. To some, it's longer, but eventually is time comes to an end, you know, because everybody's hungry. Everybody wanna grab your spot. Actually, I was watching Arnold's documentary on Netflix last night, and it says that everybody's hungry, but for those who is on top, food is always available. So you become less hungry. So it is brief, yes.
The eye of the tiger, you lose that fight.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Okay, so like this is crazy, right? If you ask the average person, you know, you've been in this many fights and you've won most of them. That's like, wow, man. What do you consider to be an impressive rating? Or is there no such thing? Have you seen fighters that have won much fewer fights, but they were just so incredible? You know, maybe it's circumstance or What makes somebody a great fighter? Do these stats even mean anything, or how much do they mean?
I think stats in general is very often, most boxer. But by the way, most boxing fans, they don't know much about boxing. Majority of boxing fans never even been on the ring, let alone even doing boxing. People like watching kind of on the surface. Boxing, it's a violent sport for those who not familiar with it. They're just in two guys. The usual interpretation is like this: two guys standing in front of each other and punching each other till someone loses, or get
Like
knocked
a
out.
video game, right?
So, but it's also very intellectual sport. It's what kind of challenges ones have. It's sometimes it's quality versus quantity. Who had more fights or less fights, or it comes to like really, it's you can pick and choose what you wanna, what is your prerequisite of being considered a great fighter. I would say for boxers is more of it's an individual journey. You are always fighting. The biggest fight you will have, it's really yourself. So
Right.
you really have the really enjoy the accomplishments is when you really overpowered yourself in a way, and that's what the most that's what really, for me personally, is that's what counts. I overpower myself. I push myself to the limits that I thought I would not be able to do those, go this far. So for me, that's what counts. It's personal.
Right. It's interesting you say that, because you make me think of a couple of things. First of all, they say if Muhammad Ali wasn't a fighter, he would have been a great tactician in any other area, because you have to know every part of that ring and how to maneuver yourself and what's going to work against who. It's almost like you're a general, but you're the only soldier in your army. And the other thing you said about, you go the distance. You can't quit. Regular people in the average world, they quit all the time, all day long, about many things. And boxing, you go into that second wind. I think we had a conversation where I told you every fight that I won meant nothing. What's the big deal to beat somebody up that you can beat up? But when you dig down deep and you are just done and you just keep coming back and you're going to lose, but still you're going to go all the way. A regular person can't understand. We sound crazy, but it's commitment. It's something that not everybody has. I think this is what you're describing.
Yeah. Yes. That's what it is. It's when you are discovering something that was kind of private to very few, and you become this, you kind of start, there's a glimpse in this world where not a lot of people are familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. In the rest of the world, usually, people stick together with their type, the wealthy, the poor, the famous. When it comes to boxing, I was friendly with Ernie Shavers. God bless his soul. What a great man. They say he was the hardest hitting man back in the 70s. Everybody spoke about him. It's worth it for the audience to look him up. He just passed away a year ago. And it's just so interesting because he was struggling. He wasn't a wealthy guy, and he said that like he would tell me about, he was hanging out with Muhammad Ali here and there and all these different people, and like in the boxing game, somebody who's rich with a palace and somebody who's struggling, they're all friends, because like you're saying, it's like you belong to this club that only very few understand, and money doesn't like separate. Like if a guy is another guy's friend, it doesn't matter if he's got $20 in his pocket. And it's amazing.
It is, yeah. It is. Yeah, it's I mean, partially also like, you know, a lot of wealthy people not really boxers, you know. So, but I would say, I don't know, wealthy people have something, let's say, something that the quality of, like, let's say, a fighter, you know, to close a deal, you know, you kind of have to be a little bit vicious, you know, just like in the ring.
Right.
There's
Sorry.
there is similarities, you know.
Yeah. What would you say was your best, is your best at? We're going to get back to this in a moment. The reason I say is, not was, what would you say is your best attribute? Like stamina, strength, what would you say you have more than something else?
I would say an experience, and I consider my
Your options?
say I would say smarts, or being like a kind of smarts in the ring, or IQ in the ring. That would be my I would say top top of my advantages, you know.
Like chess, you'll set somebody up to let them think something so you can react on what they're going to do.
Yeah, you first of all, it was mentioned, for example, Muhammad Ali just earlier, and if you say if he was not a boxer, he would be a tactician. You know, there's there's a different types of fighters. Just like there's a three general body types of people. You know, stocky, lean, and something in the middle. You know, but there's the fighters who would be in general terms, not to degrade anyone, you know, like a more of a showing a lot of heart. They would stand in, they might take one or two punches in order to land a one or two as well, you know. And then there is boxers who, like Muhammad Ali, for example, who would to hit and not get hit. That's usually the approach, being tactician, being showing a great set of IQ in the ring. You know, it's boxing for them is more of a art of defense than offense. So I would be probably in that category. I'm not a type of fighter who is going to be standing in the middle and exchanging. For me personally, it's more of a boxing game. Yeah.
Are you like Ali, that you don't hit that hard? Because he didn't hit that hard. He just
He,
kept.
he knocked a lot of people out, you know, including George Foreman, you know.
Right, but that was because he was, like you said, he didn't know where he was. He turned to the right, he's at the left.
He will take you deep into the waters and drown you, you know. He was very mental. It's a mental pressure. People would prefer he would hit them hard, you know, but instead that he will drain them. He will reach down deep into your soul and expose all the weaknesses that person, this big, strong, full of muscles fighter will have, you know, and that's sometimes much more scarier than just getting hit.
I hear you.
For example, people should watch, for example, that fight, Rumble in Jungle, Ali and Foreman. You know, there's a documentary about it, and that's very interesting documentary. You just see more of a mind aspect of it, intellectual or mental. It's more of it's literally like people love putting on social media the quotes of Sun Tzu, you know, the art of war, you know. That was war in the fight. And it's, you know, you don't have to go through
a lesson in it.
That's for months and months. It just scheduled for 12 rounds, ends up early, you know. And I highly advise people just to watch the the leading to the fight, how they train, how they talk in the press conferences, and how he talks to George Foreman. And George Foreman is very strong, big, super heavy, like one of the heaviest punchers, And yet Ali is going there, and just in the end, just drains him.
The champ is here.
Yep, exactly.
Amazing. It's so cool that you were able to create yourself after your idols, as opposed to finding out that maybe you had to change your style. You're lucky. It's like you lived your dream. Some people find out they need a different style than the guys they look up to. I think you're kind of blessed in that way.
You in the beginning of anyone's profession, for example, you have to find your style. I'm not talking about just only boxing or different sports or businesses. You kind of have to find your routine. They give you books. You have trainer. They're telling you how to throw punches certain way. There's only 6 punches you can really hit a person. So using your hands only. I'm talking about.
Right.
Cross, hook, right hook, left uppercut, right uppercut. That's it. But then you can add angles to it. You can add slip and counter punches. So the variety becomes way more than 6 punches. It becomes way more. But then again, it's only very technical. But then you add to it a mental game to it. Then your potential from 6 punches rises to 1,000 different angles and punches. You can hit person really from any angle, and that's what the punches, the violence become infinite. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And you finding your own style in the process. You cannot be Mike Tyson. You cannot be Ali. There's only one. You can be you. You can be yourself. Just like in always telling. There's a Jewish Hasidic story, what's his name? Reb Zusha from Anipol, In the end of the days, everybody gonna die. And then Hashem gonna ask you, why did you become, you're gonna say, why didn't it become like, you're not gonna ask you, why didn't you become like Moses? Why didn't you become like Abraham? Why didn't you become
the best you? Right.
You? Because you cannot be them. You could be only yourself.
Well said. Well said. So I just to go over the titles that you held, because from what I know you held the 2007 North American Boxing Super Welterweight, then 2009 to 2010 you held the Super Welterweight from the WMB. I'm sorry.
WBA.
WBA. I apologize. Okay, now I just wanted to make sure I got that right, because that's just amazing. It's so cool. There's so many people out there in the game, and you won. So now I got one more question for you, and then I want to get to the main question, which I think is going to be the coolest thing. You're a rabbi, or I assume you're Orthodox, right?
Yeah. Observant.
Sorry?
Observant, yeah. Observant.
Right.
Yeah, people call Orthodox whatever it's meant to them,
That's very, very cool. So
usually with the word Orthodox, people picture black hat,
right,
black jacket, and but it's not. Orthodox is really being observant and following a halakha,
Right. Yeah. They got people like us too, right? All right. I want to lead up to the last question, because you took me by surprise. You told me something the other day that I had no idea. You said that, like quoted in the Rocky movie, there's something left in the basement, and you're gonna make as they say in the movie, your Ali-like return to the ring, you want to fight again, and you're training for it, and you're serious about it.
Yes.
Let's hear about that, man.
Well, you have to be serious, first of all.
Yes, touche.
One of the wrong sports not to be serious. If you're not serious, then you either crazy or you stupid, and you can get hurt. So it's very simple. And yes, I feel like I have something. I didn't scrape the bottom of my barrel, my potential, in terms of boxing. So, as they say, if you not use it, you're gonna lose it. So what Hashem gave me, the talents and the potentials, and still in that sport, if I'm not gonna use it all, then I'm just gonna waste it. I don't want to waste Hashem's gifts. I want to use till the end, at least.
Hashem meaning God, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, good. And so I am training. My coach, who I won the title with, Joe Greer, he came out of retirement as well.
From Gleason's, right? You were training in Gleason.
We're training in Jersey. He's from Jersey, so he's 75 years old, and I am.
You originally trained in Gleason's, right?
I trained in Gleason gym for
back in the day when it was the place.
That was my first gym in New York, and I'm still occasionally visiting Gleason gym. It's only 3 miles away from here, from me. But yeah, I'm traveling to Joe Greer, my coach, who lives in Jersey, and we train there. And it's a process. It's a constantly sharpening your tools. You're sharpening, you're challenging yourself, you're pushing yourself to the limits. That's how you grow. You not grow by just reading a book. Whatever you learn in a book, you will have to take it in the world, into the world, and you have to apply those knowledge. And in boxing, for those who are not familiar, you sharpen your tools by having a good partners, good sparring partners, and who would challenge you as well. And that's how you grow in life. If you don't challenge yourself, you're not growing. That's the name of the game in life, just in general. You have to challenge yourself. That's why people who, let's say, run marathons or ultra marathons, that's when they are finding more about the secrets about themselves, or mysteries, I would say. There's distinctions between secrets and mysteries. Secrets, you have to be part of secret group to know the secrets. But mystery, you have to dedicate time to know about this mystery. We have mysteries about ourselves, and very a lot of people don't know themselves. So you have to challenge yourself. That's why people who are successful, let's say in business, they also do all sorts of marathons, ultra marathon. They're challenging them physically, because you find out about yourself a great deal of very valuable information, that you could be used for expanding yourself, expanding your horizons, expanding your knowledge, expanding your potential. And that's very, very important for those who read Bible, for those who read Torah. In the all the stories of Book of Bereshit or Genesis, you see, they achieve greatness. The forefathers achieved greatness by the end of their life because of hardships, what they had. They became great not since the beginning. Nobody becomes great in the beginning. Nobody. There's a potential of greatness. Unless you use that potential and going through obstacles and challenges, you reach the destination, the final destination, you become great.
Right.
Naturally, also, every single person, including great people, potentially great people, we are tend to use the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance gonna get you fast. I say
Gratitude.
fast
Like
gratitude,
good
but
feeling.
the long term, you're not gonna
Right.
achieve things.
That's fascinating though.
Yes, the Torah is to show us that don't dismay, don't despair. It's okay. Life is not. But guess what? You have this potential within you, and you have this, a being that is always rooting, always in your corner, always cheering for you, and it wants your best. And that's God, that's Hashem, that's whatever religion is named him. We have to always recognize that.
It's so interesting. I like what you said about mystery versus secret. I'm gonna keep that one. That's very deep, man. I appreciate that.
Sure, of course.
Let me ask you, do you think you're gonna be back in the big lights? You're gonna be a contender for like world champions, or you just want to fight? Like, how do you see this?
So always since the beginning, I always had the dream. It always starts with the dream. I wanna be there. I wanna get on the top. And of course, nothing changed about that. I want to be there. I want to be on the top.
Right.
I was much younger. I did have doubts that it's my never happen. But you know what? You persevere. Sometimes you have days that you want to quit, but you wake up the next morning in a better mood, and you try to shake yourself off and continue. You have to show up. You always have to show up, even when you don't feel like. So I do feel like I'm going to be there. Yes.
Awesome.
And look, I'm not going to put my money, or I'm doing something stupid about it. I'm doing my best.
Right.
Last my best, it was good. You do your best in terms of your physical intentions, and also your mental, and also your spiritual. You have to pray as well.
Right. All right, Yuri. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. All right.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
Take care, my friend. Bye.